killing it today. Almost back at 185. Just $15 move today. Pretty nice. Yeah. It's almost like a company that should probably still be worth $500 to $600 a share doesn't want to stay at a 170, right? Nuts, I know. SPX, Jesus Christ, yeah, it closed right within my expected move, down 14, 15 points on the day, so one bip lower. Yeah, still below Vega neutral and pretty much unable to get above it for the entirety of the day. It's presenting quite the hard cap on bulls and short-term options positioning. I'll sell my Nvidia call. I mean, it's up to you, but you could probably still sell it at a gain if Nvidia bounces back. Futures just flat on the day too. Nothing interesting there. And we still failed the trend. We didn't bounce back to retest the trend, which is interesting. And if that's the retest of the trend and the failure, that's kind of bearish. Commodities down today. We actually saw metals and energy slip a bit today. I think some of this has to do with like Chinese foreign investment was down much further than expected, and that was a lot of people were thinking that was going to turn around. Yuan lost some ground earlier today. It's recovered a bit, but over the week, it's still very far from the PBOC's like 7.14 exchange rate, right? That they're trying to set. So pretty weak there. And then we have, the yen just nosediving. USD JPY almost at 160 going into the weekend. Dollar at 105.80 and starting to push up into that high resistance. Break above that, we're probably going to see dollar move up 106, 106.25. So quite the bullish move in the dollar there. That hasn't started to drag yields up substantially, but it is kind of putting a bottom on them, and that is tightening up inversion a tiny bit. We saw a correlation on the 1 month pick up a ton today, so a lot of short vol sold in the near term to protect the downside. Meanwhile, correlation on the 3 month breaking down. Those are pretty divergent right there. I don't think that could be mistaken for anything else. And that means that they're shorting near-term volatility, but pulling back long-term volatility shorts. And that's a sign that positioning is breaking down, right? They're trying to get out of their long-term shorts on vol, and this could mean that they expect that volatility is going to rise substantially in the near future. JPY carry trade not leveraged up very hard, despite the big drop in yen. We see leverage pretty close to yesterday's high, and down a little bit from the intraday today. Yield curve inversion's tightening up a bit, and that's putting upward demand on volatility. However, this is still negative and not a serious threat yet. Bond vol still staying pretty elevated, but now we're starting to see a breakdown in 3 month correlation, which is more aligned with what we would expect given the increased volatility on the bond market. Skew pulled back a little bit today, but that may have just been in response to the AM expiration. I don't think there's a lot to derive from that. This is probably no longer true, but at the close yesterday, 52.68% of the S&P was above its 20-day moving average, which is a little bit more breadth. And RSP performed okay today. I think Dow was pretty flat and Russell was up. So, breadth coming into support today, but, major indexes selling off pretty hard. The NQ down 21 points, ES down 18. VIX correlation ends the week at negative 10.17%, which is, the most positive correlation we have had since November, and that's now locked in on the weekly. If we start to see that turn around, and correlation between cash VIX and VIX futures starts to pick up, we could get a large move in volatility. So keep an eye on that. Fed fund futures pricing in 0.36 cuts for the end of the year. So those aren't really moving much. And there hasn't been any macro data there either to push that around. Anyway, that's about it for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you Sunday for the weekend stream at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you all so much. I hope you all have a lovely weekend. Later.